Hey family, in today's video, we are going to talk about how to get your IP pin. All right. So first of all, let's talk about what an IP pin is. It's an identity protection pin, and it's a 6-digit number that prevents someone else from filing your tax return using your social security number. Or if you don't have a social security number, it prevents them from using your ITIN, which is your individual taxpayer identification number. Now, you may be thinking, why do I need this? In today's world, with people having so much access to data, I think it's important for you to have an IP pin to protect yourself from having somebody file a false tax return on your behalf. Just a few weeks ago, a prior client reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, I got something from the IRS, but it's about the tax years that you filed for me in the past." So I took a look at the notice, and what happened was someone filled out an 8821, which would give them access to the taxpayer's account. The IRS sent it to the taxpayer because there was no signature. So this threw up an alarm for me because I let my client from the past know, hey, whoever sent this form you're saying you don't know who it is. They now have access to your social security number and your address and potentially your date of birth and other information they would need to file a return on your behalf. I highly suggest that you get an IP PIN. And then I went along and told her what that was and how to go about it. Now, with the internet and all the hackers and things, you may have encountered something very similar. So I want to walk you through the process as well. Okay. After you fill out this application or you apply in a different way, you will receive a CP01A notice, and that is going to have your new IP PIN. Now, you'll receive one of these every year, and it will be required to file your tax return electronically. Now, this Form 15227 is the application for an identity protection personal identification number. If you are applying for this online, that is the fastest way to request the PIN, okay? But just in case you aren't eligible to apply online, like you can't be verified, or you don't have an online account, I want to walk you through the process of filling out this form. Okay? You qualify for this form, and I'll walk through because it's right here on top of this for you. Okay? If you don't have a PIN already assigned to you. Okay? If you already have a PIN, you can retrieve it using this website right here. Okay? Or you can go to the Taxpayer Assistance Center right here. You can call this number to schedule an appointment to get that PIN. All right. If you have a social security number or ITIN, then you can apply for this. All right. You're going to put that number on line D. If your adjusted gross income on your last filed tax return for an individual is below $79,000, or if you're filing as married filing joint below $158,000, then you can use this to apply. You also have to have access to a telephone, okay? Because they will call to verify your identity. So if you meet all of that criteria, let's continue. First and foremost, you are going to need to put your personal information in here, which is why some people don't like all of this stuff being on the internet. So that may be why you're filling out this application, right? Because you can mail or fax this to the IRS. In today's example, we're going to use Mike Heck. If you know where Mike Heck is from in the TV world, let me know in the comments. But we're going to put the last name first. So here we have Heck. First name, Michael. Middle name or initial. So we're going to put the initial because that's how he files his tax return. So it's going to be A. The current mailing address is 427 Birchwood Avenue. The city is Orson, Indiana, zip code 46213. And this person is not a dependent. So we have the box no checked. Now, Mike's social security number is going to be 235 892013. We're going to want to make sure that matches what's on your social security card. But if you are of age and are able to fill out this form for yourself, I'm going to just trust that you have your social security number memorized. Okay. So here in E, this telephone number, and you want to make sure that you have the area code as well, needs to match whoever is applying for this. Okay. So for me, I would not want to put my office number. I would not want to put my husband's number. I would want to put a number that is directly connected to me. So my cell phone, or if I have a home line, I would attach that because the IRS will reach out between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., whatever your local time is, Monday through Friday. So they need to be able to reach you. So of course we have the phone number here is 812-234-2747. The 812, of course, is an Indiana number, so we know that is connected. We want to make sure that if you are a Spanish speaking taxpayer, make sure that you have the box checked here for Spanish. This application is actually available in Spanish as well. So when you look this form up, be sure to go to page 2 and you'll see the Spanish there because we want to make sure whoever calls you is able to actually help you, right? So for my CAC, that's going to be English. Here with G, I declare that to the best of my knowledge and belief, the information entered on this form 15227 is true, correct, complete, and made in good faith. So then we are going to have the printed name of the person submitting the form and the date completed. Okay. Now, in case you had any questions about any of the lines that were filled out, you want to look at these instructions here. It is going to be the exact same thing that I just told you as I was going through. All right. So again, for box E, make sure you have, or line E rather, I'm sorry, make sure that you have a telephone number with the area code in which you can be reached. Okay. Now, when you file this form or submit it rather, keep in mind you are going to get your IP PIN early January, and it's going to be a notice. It's going to be the CP01A notice. All right. And this pin is good from January through November. All right. If you do have an online account, you can also access it there. But your tax returns that you try to e-file for that year cannot be submitted unless you have that IP pin after you've been assigned one. So you need to make sure that to keep this streamlined, you can either submit this by mail and you can mail it to the Department of the Treasury, IRS, Fresno, California, 93888-0025, or okay, or not and or, just or, you can submit it by fax. When you fax it, include a cover sheet that's marked confidential. So the first page will have confidential on it, and then the next page will be the application, okay? And you will fax that to 855-807-5720, okay? Now, once you get on the phone with somebody because they're going to call to verify you, right? You are going to need some information to verify yourself. So, some of the things that you will possibly need are a driver's license. If you have a passport, you may need that. You may also, and I'm just going to say you will need your prior year tax return because they will ask you information on that return for you to verify your identity. If you are unable to submit this form online or mail or fax it and they can't verify your identity, again, you can make an appointment for an in-person meeting at a local taxpayer assistance center. Okay. And if you have that in-person appointment, make sure that you bring one current government issued picture ID. Okay. And another identification document to prove your identity. Once this is verified, whether it's online, in person, or with this form, you will receive your IP PIN via the U.S. Postal Service within 3 weeks. And remember, if you are submitting or when you get the new one, that typically comes out in January. All right. If you have any other questions about this IP pin, please let me know down in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to like, share it, and last but not least, this was Timlin Bowen's America's Favorite EA on a mission to fill the tax literacy gap one taxpayer at a time. I'll see you guys in the next video.